So now we're going to want a way to actually bring in our user logs, edit passwords, edit user details, so on and so forth in there. So let's move on to that next. First of all, let's bring in our logs for those specific users and then be able to view them. And then we'll test that as well as we go along. Okay, so I'm just gonna close all of this out, clean up our view here and everything. And I'm going to go again, resources, JS, components, users, user management dashboard. Okay. And in here, I'm going to create a user logs component. Okay. I'm going to do a couple of additional things in here. One, I'm going to create a user property to bind to this. And we're basically going to be using this user property quite a bit as we even do editing, things like that, updating, you name it. So first of all, in our VF directive, I want to only if user is not equal to null, first of all. I want to bind user to this particular component. And I want to also create a VON like we saw up top where it says view dashboard. So we can kind of get out of that. Then we go set active. And then we'll pass through dashboard in there. Okay, perfect. View dashboard, view dashboard. Now we need to actually bring that in. So user logs from, and I'm going to go, we'll say /logs, and then we'll say user logs. I'll just say user logs.view. Okay, let's go users. New folder logs. Oops. And we'll say user logs. .view for our component. Okay, so template. Perfect. And we'll say .card.empty-3 .card-body h3, and we'll just say user logs. And I want to bring in the user's name. So I'll use a class there, and we'll just say user.name, so we know who we're talking about in here. We're going to put in the script tag we'll say export default. And the prop we're going to bring in here is going to be user. And we'll end up creating some methods in here as well. But for now, we'll leave that as is. Let's make sure that this is actually resolving as it should, and it is. Awesome. So now we've brought that one in. We've binded user to it, VF user. Now what we need to do is create a logs button, which I'll do logs before we do the editing. It'll be the first thing you see on the left-hand side of all that. Button, .btn dash, we'll say secondary. Make that small, like the rest of them. btn secondary. And the font awesome item that we'll put in there is going to be yes.fa dash list dash alt. Okay. And let's give this a title in here as well. Just in case it's not obvious, it'll be view user logs. Okay. And we need to also put in we'll say @click equals view logs, and we'll put user in there. Actually, I'm going to say specifically view user logs. I'll put user in there, pass that through. And the reason I want to do that is because we might put another button up somewhere else that says view logs so that we can view all the logs that actually come through. So, okay, so we got that done. Let's go view user logs down here. So get page, get users, okay. Passing through user in there, and all we're going to do is we're going to assign this dot user and make it equal to user in here. That works. And then what we need to do is this dot set active. We'll say user logs. Okay. So we also need to, so we'll put another conditional in here, and that'll be active dot user logs, and we'll make sure that that's a property that we have down here. That'll default to false. It's not the first thing we want to see, right? When we do all that. So, okay, so active dashboard, create user, user logs in there. So let's see what that does for us, if that gets us there. Open up our console just in case we flash any errors from all of this. And we'll click that, and we do. User logs, did you register the component correctly? No, I did not register the component at all. If you caught that before I did, awesome. Okay, let's try that again. So I'll refresh the page. Click user logs, and there we go. We have user logs, Tyson London 1. Now, what we're going to have to do in the next video is we're going to look at how to pull in those user logs, and we're going to reuse components like pagination in order to make that work.